Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So we're going to talk about this new supply. Often narcissists love to just move in quickly. And how does that affect a marriage? Because sometimes the narcissist will get married, but a lot of us are wondering, is it going to work? We need to get kind of out of that mindset because it is what it is. Um, but for our own decisions too. Should we live with somebody before we get married? And there is statistical evidence that people who cohabitate before they get married have a higher incidence of divorce. So, what's the difference? And why does it matter? So, the narcissist will move somebody in just because it's quick supply, readily available, seems to be working, but the commitment's not completely there. They want somebody at their beck and call. So there's that sliding versus deciding. And it's almost like they didn't really think about the relationship. Because if you think about all these different narcissists, they're so quick to fall into this like lifelong relationship. And it's mind blowing to me because they didn't take the time to grieve or to get over the relationship that they just got out of. They do that monkey branching where they go person to person. Finally, they secure someone. And a lot of times it's situational. That's why they talk about situationships. So it seems to be working, but there's that lack of commitment that's underlying. It's let's test each other out, let's see if it works. There's something that prevented a full commitment. And if you think about it, are they with the right person? They're not willing to commit to the person. So over time, it kind of, based on society, seems like the right thing to do. You're kind of trapped. What can you do? The person's living there, seems to be working, but it's not a full decision. It's something that happened. And I want somebody who is fully vested into me to go through the hard times. And it's just a different mental perception, uh, a difference in the level of commitment. And over time, there can be resentment that builds up. And it can be subtle over time. And it's almost like you realize the flaws that you should have seen before you committed to it. And also, there are flaws in everybody, but people who take a full vow are more apt to work through the flaws as opposed to building up a resentment because it's something that they committed to, something that they believed in. And when people cohabitate, it's like playing house. It's not real. And that whole sliding versus deciding, sometimes they think that getting married is going to fix things, that there are problems in the relationship, and a ring on the finger is going to make things better. And the way that the narcissist handles relationships, it's full of resentment. It's whatever's quick and easy. So if it's a quick and easy fix to their loneliness to have somebody move in, is it what they really decided that they wanted? So with all the mental illness that's going on, all the entitlement, especially if you live in the United States or certain other countries, the entitlement, two people can't be entitled because it doesn't work that way. And as time goes by, the narcissist starts to see flaws. And it's interesting how they uh, re, uh, change their focus. When you do something nice to them, they don't accept it for the niceness. They'll pick apart something else. Like I had mentioned that I had completely decorated the house and cleaned. I just didn't vacuum the back bedroom, even though I vacuum it every day. And he was all excited about, the house being decorated, and then he goes in the back and gets pissed off that I didn't vacuum the back bedroom. So they're not happy. You try to redirect, say, hey, but I also made that meal that you wanted. And then you get bitched at for making the meal when you should have vacuumed. And it's a no-win situation. They don't accept or appreciate the things that you do. And their focus goes to nitpicking. And that's where it starts to destroy your self-esteem, your drive to either do things, because now you don't know if you're going to get yelled at. So the narcissist will always pick apart their relationship. And they'll let outside influences influence how they perceive their person. So whether you gain too much weight or lose too much weight, or you don't have the right job, or you purchase the wrong car and it's not flashy enough, whatever it is, it can destroy a relationship with a narcissist. So some of these relationships continue on, but I know with mine, they can be in a relationship an additional like 10 years with someone, knowing that they're going to leave, whether they had kids together and they wanted to wait it out. So these relationships can last a long time, an additional decade, 2 decades, if children are involved, but the love isn't there. And, there's evidence that you can make things work. They have the arranged marriages. Some of them seem to work better than non-arranged marriages. And that's because of a mindset that we have to make it through. So with how freely you can get divorced, people will focus on, is it financially worth it to get divorced? They don't really focus on the person or what the feelings are. It's superficial that some people will stay just because of the money or because of social status or whatever. And true love should endure. But the narcissist, they can't have an adult relationship like that. They have a parasitic type relationship, and then they it's kind of like they start out as a child, sucking away our energy, and then they want to dominate, kind of like a teenager who wants to exert their independence. And they'll, instead of keeping both people in the adult relationship, they dominate. And they do that to build up their self-esteem by crushing yours. It's not where they have a healthy mindset of growing together and seeing the good in each other, because they get that jealousy of either you getting attention or you wanting time with other people, that they're not whole in themselves, that they have to get it from somewhere else. And as life goes by, they've learned manipulation tactics, which are like survival techniques for them, but they're so destructive to another human being. So instead of building each other up, they it's like it's like they resent it because they didn't get that as a child. And everything about receiving love for them is scary to them because they don't see it as stable. They don't see it as real or consistent. So when they get that, they always feel that there's ulterior motives or there's trust issues. And a lot of times too, there's some sayings about when people cohabitate that maybe they need to test the waters because they have trust issues, that Is this real? Is this going to work out? As opposed to going in, making a full commitment. So a lot of times these relationships are that sliding versus deciding. And the narcissist always wants the best of the best. So when they're in those kind of relationships, they put expectations on you to be the best. But we all have our talents in certain aspects, certain areas, but you can't be the best in everything. And the narcissist will hold that against you. And it can be really toxic how they handle things, because when you build somebody up, they're more capable of achieving things. So just like with weight loss or whatever, if you cut somebody down about their weight, or tell them, you know, you can see their rolls or their cellulite, or things like that, it's going to get them into a depression, and they're probably going to eat more. It's a self-sabotaging type thing, or a destructive way to handle it. So encouragement in a positive way is better than beating somebody down. And the narcissists don't support their partners the way that they need to. They do a lot of that future faking, to where you feel that you can rely on them. Just like, you know, if you go into a marriage with one, they're going, oh, I'll always be there for you. You know, we're soulmates, ride or die. But when it gets difficult, they want to change their mind. They don't want to follow through on these promises. It's real easy to give a promise if you don't have to follow through on it. So they say things that sound enticing to their partner, but when it comes down to it, they're not going to show up. Or if they do, it's full of resentment, anger. And it's very interesting how their mind works. They can't feel. They literally can't feel what another person feels. And it's hard for us to understand that sometimes, because we feel it. Like, our perception of the world is through our experiences, through our thought processes of trying to put our experiences onto somebody else to kind of understand what they're going through. And we can't take away, like, how do you not feel? You know? And the narcissists, they do that too, to us, to where, you know, we try to explain all our feelings, and sorry, I have COVID right now. So they're trying to understand our emotions, and they don't feel the same thing. So they can't even twist it to understand it. So it gets annoying. Like, why are you crying over this? Or what is it that you don't understand? Or why is everything such a big deal? And it hurts even more when they get a kick out of it sometimes. Sometimes they do have little smirks. It's a power thing, and they get off on it. So cohabitation starts out with a lack of commitment. It's a, let's just try it. Why not? We'll save some money on bills or whatever. You're easily accessible. And, you know, you think about, is a new supply better than I am? You know, right now, I could go find a guy, good looking, good job, whatever, seems kind, and move in with them. How do you say that person would be better than the person you've had a long-term relationship with? You don't even know the person. And It's almost like the narcissist just accepts what's put in front of them. They don't take time to really evaluate what they're doing. And they fool the new supply. They pretend they don't have any problems. They pretend that they're whole inside. But during times of trauma or stress or boredom, the narcissist's true colors are going to come out. And it's a cycle that they go through. And, with that, you know, uh, childlike emotional state, it's children are ever evolving, different likes and loves and desires every other week, every other day, every other hour. Sometimes it lasts for a couple weeks, months, years, but the depth isn't in the narcissist's capabilities. Unless it's about them, they can be passionate about things that they want. And they can seem really kind-hearted. They'll volunteer for things or they'll donate, but there's always kind of like an ulterior motive that they have to be seen. They have to uh, be in control. And when we see our narcissists with other people, how they interact, the communal narcissism that can kind of happen to where sometimes they'll overtake situations. Other times they just, it's like a fear of missing out or wanting to be a part of something because they feel lost. So the narcissist cheats a lot of times. Sometimes see what they can get away with. But the divorce statistics out there, you know, uh, a lot of narcissists, both mine, ended up with somebody 10, 14 years younger. And it's easier to manipulate somebody who hasn't gone through certain things. But those are the people who haven't gone through what we've gone through. The new supply has no clue how they're going to have to handle this situation. So if your narcissist is with a much younger new supply, to me, that's a sign that the narcissist is still seeking validation somehow that they can't get from themselves. That they need somebody younger to feed off of. The younger person's looks or energy or youth. It's just such a crazy balance on how the narcissist starts out seeming like they love you. But that's because there's no problems in the beginning. And they fool us into thinking that they like the same things that we like. A lot of them spend so much money on this love bombing that they're making a purchase instead of an investment, if that makes any sense. Because they do use people, and I don't know. Marriage to a narcissist is different. One person is truly loving. Sometimes two narcissists can get married. all these different mental illnesses out there. So, some of us searching, is it going to last? Well, there's so many different variables on what the new supply is like, how healthy they are mentally. But you know your person, and the cycle of narcissistic abuse, the way they take advantage of people, how dismissive they are. And it's hard to understand because the more I research the different ways that people communicate with each other, certain things are pretty dismissive. I saw one video on where, the guy's always like, oh, my exes, they're all crazy. And that can be seen as dismissive because they probably weren't crazy. There's probably some underlying issues that weren't resolved with the narcissist that got frustrating. Being frustrated doesn't mean you're crazy. It might mean you don't know how to handle a certain situation, but not knowing how to handle something is so different than being insane. And it's a lack of accountability. It's a lack of accountability. Most people aren't crazy. And we come to our narcissist trying to figure out how to handle certain situations because there's two people involved. We know how we would handle it. We know what we would expect as an outcome. The outcome isn't happening the way that we perceived. So we're trying to get to the bottom of it and trying to meet eye to eye with them. They don't want to take the time to do it. They don't want to take the time to help make the relationship better. And if we don't get it right, then we're seen as crazy, annoying, irritating, emotional, sensitive, not worth it. And that's how toxic it gets because they shut down or rage instead of handling the situation. So don't let what happened to you be your sense of worth. They always say that it reflects on them. Their actions reflect on them, not you. So if they're hating you for trying to love them, they hate who they are. Whether they hate that they tricked you, or they hate that they feel that they're not worthy, or hate that they feel they can't trust you when you are trustworthy. They're manipulators, so they feel that everything other people do is manipulation. It's a toxicity in them that will destroy the relationships. So each day we got to heal ourselves, take care of our mental health as well as our physical health. And healing takes time. But we spend so much energy trying to get to the answers that we forget about ourselves. So today I want you to do something special for yourself. Take a hot bath, go for a walk, call a friend, cuddle with an animal, watch the birds, do your hair, just pamper yourself a little. Do a puzzle, go out to the movies, whatever it is. But life is short, and try to do one thing every day that reminds you of how special you are. Do some positive affirmations. Comment below. What are some things that make you special? You got to keep reminding yourself sometimes because we get so down. It's going to be okay, but there are steps we need to take to get back to that. So cry when you need to. It's okay to cry. And if there's anything I can help you guys with, just let me know. Topic requests are always welcome. I'll do free videos for you guys. Just let me know what you want to hear. But I also have one-on-ones available, and I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the day.